Hello. It's the first of the month again, and I just said I was feeling tired, and some voice just started chiming in with, "Oh, okay, I hear you're feeling tired." Well, hopefully, I didn't really push any buttons, but it's deciding that it's going to try to help me out with that, I guess. Anyway, it's the first of the month. I've got some more tapes. Before I get into all of that, I bought something from Best Buy, and it was mislisted as having 16 VRAM instead of 8, which it has 8, but it says something like has 8 VRAM, but then has the description says 16, says like, so it makes it sound like it's got like 8 actual physical cores and 8 virtual cores of VRAM. So I went into Best Buy because I didn't realize this, and it had the wrong number of display ports as well. So I went in, I thought like, well, maybe I can upgrade to a new computer, and I went to, I tried the phone number and they sent me to India, and so then I went into Best Buy to talk about that because I figured, well, because I wasn't able to get a hold of anybody, So I went to the place I bought the computer from, and they like I had a really bad experience. Like I had talked to two people on the sales floor who just kind of hemmed and hawed about it and didn't really do anything. And then somebody else came along, and then they got somebody from the Geek Squad. So there was like 3 salesperson and Geek Squad, and like none of them were saying it. It dragged on for like a half an hour, and I was mostly just being quiet, but I was kind of saying like, well, do you suppose it was mislisted, blah blah blah. Finally, manager came over and wasted another 10 minutes, and finally he was like, well, what do you want me to do about it? And I actually had a number of ideas. One of them would be like you could upgrade to the video card that I bought, where it says this 16. You could come to my house and put it in. He said, no, we don't really do that. How about if I come take it back and trade it in? And he said, well, you'd have to pay the difference. So I asked why. Because honestly, it's like, even if I didn't like the color of the RGB lighting in the computer or whatever, I don't have to have a reason. I can take it back, upgrade it, and pay the difference. I don't have to have a reason for that. So he's like telling me something that, how is that helpful? So in other words, he was trying to subconsciously get me to react to him. He's trying to push my buttons by saying that, because it's a completely unhelpful thing to say, and he knows it. So anyway, I'm hoping that somebody can actually help me, because I like rode up on my bike out there. Yeah, and so I'm just making this video right now about that. Another thing, I was just watching a video with Rick Beato, and it was the 20 greatest drum fills of all time. And I just want to say that when I'm like by myself and watching videos like this, what I tried to do is I stopped the video when he gives a clue. Like he'll say, in the year, I got it actually, in the year 1981, this band, and I stopped the video and I thought about it, and I thought it must be the Police. Every little thing she does is magic, and it was. And another one. Oh, this drummer played in 3 different Seattle bands. I thought, oh, it must be Matt Cameron and Black Hole Sun, and I got both of those right, but I can't prove that. So it's kind of frustrating. Like, I mean, I can't. You have to take my word for it that I got these things. That's why I'm making a video. It doesn't matter. Anyway, let's get into the music. Yeah, here's the music today. And like, by the way, it's nice that things, like I said in the last video, I had some like kind of grail sort of stuff. This is the first boring video because there's just not as much. There's some okay things. I kind of enjoyed this Apocalyptica album. Both the Metallica covers on the strings as well as their own things. This Sid Barrett Opel is pretty interesting because it's the Thailand version here, and it had some pretty good liner notes, which I don't think I had in my original Opel. I can't remember if there was an essay, but I don't believe there was. But as I said, anytime I ever listen to an album at all, I read every word in the liner notes. That's why it takes me a little bit longer to do it. Let's see, that Bright Eyes. Okay. Now, Devdas was an excellent. Actually, I believe I got at least one of these in my head for minutes because that's how good this was. Let's just see if I can see the. Well, of course, I don't know. They're all in Indian, right? So it's really hard to say what the actual thing I liked was. But Darbar is the composer. I thought he was quite good, and I enjoyed. I like it when I can get into a new Bollywood composer who I've not really heard. The Flaming Groovies are kind of interesting just in that they were, I don't know, like a throwback. The album's from '76, but the songs are like from a decade earlier, kind of like is it kind of a beat group or something, I think. Or did I have something else to say about them? I don't know. It didn't change my life or anything. Nor did this, but this was the Gray Area box set, which is Joyful Noise. Yeah, okay, so the first album here. Wait a minute, that's not the first album, is it? No, that's the last album. Sorry, that's number 10. I meant to have that there. First album was this Whack Bards. It was not very good. Hate to say it, but like kind of canned lyrics, not great music. I mean, I didn't care for it. But we got into some of these other ones, like, in fact, all of the ones after that, including the ones with some people from Deerhoof, were more or less enjoyable. Yeah, so it's really only the first one that I wasn't crazy about, but then everything else was at least good. One of them was a noise album. They're all different because it's just different people that were on this label, which is a label I like and have bought a number of things from. Like, for example, all of the Deerhoof tapes are on Joyful Noise. I think I've got the Deerhoof box set. I think, wasn't it Juliana Hatfield put out some of her albums on Joyful Noise? And a few others that I've been getting into. Oh right, like the other guy from Sebadoh who's not Lou Barlow put a box set on a Joyful Noise, which I've got over the first time around. But yeah, they make these nice wooden boxes. This one says Gray Area. This is number 175 if I can find that. Yeah, 175 of 175, the last one they made. Somehow I've got it. Anyway, the reason I got so many of these same Bollywood things is because in my personal rules, the way I operate, I've only got to listen to the first one like at a medium to loud volume. Like, what I try to do is listen to a tape on a full volume, or at least the volume which I believe it ought to be played. And some of that material, if it's like an older album that was recorded in mono, I can get away with playing it a little quieter. But something like this is like the mid 90s to late 2000s, well, mid 2000s, I guess, Bollywood is stuff that I want to play full out, at least the first time, and then I assume all the other times are going to be the exact same tape, more or less, just mixed the same way. So then I can listen to it quietly, which also has its purposes. And so in the morning, or in the early afternoon or something, I'll listen to it quietly rather than trying to shake the apartment with it. So let's see. All of these things, as you can see, they're Bollywood and they are just fine. Instrumental remixes and instrumental 98, those are going to be like dancey type stuff. But as I said, it's kind of boring. Oh, one I really liked though was Dawn. Dawn seems very cheesy as a movie, but the soundtrack was great. It's basically like Bollywood, a mix of Bollywood, but like heavy on the techno. Yeah, so, which is already, like, Bollywood's already real dancey music, and then you add the techno sounds to it, it becomes I don't know, just something special. So, and that's like the focus was, it's kind of cheesy, like I said, but like musically, it's always good. I also kind of enjoyed Morrissey's album, I guess. So whatever. Some of this stuff that leads classical is even arguably better than the Bollywood. This would have to be, I think, the Taiwan version of Nevermind. Or German. Is it Gemma? I forget. I look it up. Let me see. Germany. Somehow I didn't get the German version. Oops. I want to push that down. Excuse me for a second. Gotta fix that so I don't push that down into it. I do not want to. Oh, jeez. Thanks. Yeah, that just doesn't. Blam. Alright, it's fixed now. Great. I don't like it when I drop tapes or ruin tapes or anything. I don't, generally. Radiohead, Hail to the Thief. I got around to hearing that. It was pretty good, and yeah, I don't remember what version it is. Ride Carnival Lights. Okay. Don't really know what to say about that. I know that Ride just came out with an album a few months ago. I don't know, was it fall? Maybe. And then we have these other more Bollywood. They all often, at least, well, they don't all, but often they have like something, some hook or some melody, which I can get into. But I honestly don't really have much to say about them. They often don't really stand out compared to American albums where I am familiar with them. I'm sure if I was Indian or grew up there or something, I would be able to tell you more about them. Star Wars Christmas in the Stars. I believe I just got that pretty cheap for like $20, and so I jumped on that because I think my other one didn't play so well, and this one played flawlessly. It's about as hammy as and a lot of Anthony Daniels. Like the joke is for me anyway that Anthony Daniels does like Christmas birthdays, parties, all sorts of things. He'll dress up for anything to play C-3PO with just a little bit of, he probably makes at least $5 to $10 an hour to do it, but he'll do it, because he basically is C-3PO. What's fun? The other funny thing is to confuse him with Brent Spiner. Sometimes I'll make these memes saying like, "Happy birthday to Brett Spiner," and I'll show Anthony Daniels, or the other way around. Anyway, why is that funny to me? I don't know. It just kind of is. They look similar. That's the problem. But yeah, Christmas in the Stars is basically a disco album. It's a lot like the Star Wars special, holiday special, same thing. Okay, there was a Raw Power. I don't remember where that one's from. Maybe Europe, Germany. I'm not sure. Upper Astral was this new age music, which I like to listen to the background sometimes of certain things. But it was kind of like this guy's just talking, and he had a very weird way of talking, which I found unsettling instead of relaxing. Yep, not much else to say. This Weasels Rip My Flesh, I think it's got the old style of case, so really thick plastic. It sounded great, and it's from, I'm pretty sure it's from around the time when the album actually came out. Maybe even from when was that? 71, I think. 70. Anyway, as you can see, not a lot of grails this week. Things are slowing down. I still managed to listen to 63 albums, I think. So, and yeah, I've been working a lot. I don't know. Yeah, I guess there's not too much else to say. I could blabble on for a second or two, but I'm just looking forward to getting back to my movie one of these days. Okay, for all 11 of you, thank you, and please subscribe down below and blah, blah, blah. I think I had something funny to say to the very few people was, but I can't remember. So goodbye.